Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. The early bird gets the early worm. I've came down here. We never usually do for the official weigh-ins. The media one obviously at 1, but I thought try and get working a bit early. Frank's here, pre-gym sesh. How are we, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Ready to go and lift some big weights with you, aren't I? Coming along?
I may come along. I have already got ready for the day, but no reason why I can't have a little re-swap over. Yeah, I mean casual. I'm always casual, though.
You are always casual. You've gone with the Stone Island shorts, the New Balance runners, and the Ed Hardy dupe. Valentino. Bloody hell. And the Gucci chain.
Yes. Let's go into it. We've had the weigh-in. I just saw Conor there. I mean, obviously he was always going to look in all right shape. It's up at 154. But does look in tremendous shape. Everyone's saying how much he's been in the ring. He wouldn't have had to lose much for this. How much he's been in the gym, but looking good, ready to go? Yeah,
100%. Look, he's trained hard. He's been training for the past 14 months non-stop. Ever since he had his fight in April, probably had a month or so off, and then was straight back in the gym. It's what he does. So I'm not surprised with the shape he's in. And he was ready to fight at any point. He was in the gym, sparring, everything. He was doing it as if he had a fight date locked in at any point. So, it's good to see him get in there, get weighed in, and back to it.
Robert Smith has come out and hit back and said, well, he's not really cleared to fight. Now, I've got to ask you, the ABC have given permission to this fight to go on. Conor holds a Texas boxing state licence. Obviously, this is in Florida. So the British Boxing Board of Control, I believe, had to give some form of permission to the ABC and the two commissions to allow him to fight. So why is Robert now coming out and saying this?
Well, the commission would have had to have spoken to Robert Smith. Robert Smith, the reality is, Conor doesn't hold a British Boxing Board of Control licence. And I saw Robert's interview yesterday, where they said, okay, if he wins the appeal, then you're going to allow him to box. And he said, we'll have to decide then. No, it's not how it works. That's not how it works. So I'm the British Boxing Board of Control, right? I'm a limited business, firstly. I'm not some government organisation. I'm a limited company. I could set it up tomorrow, so could you, right? I'm not taking away anything the British Boxing Board of Control have done, but they've treated this situation completely differently to anything else they've ever done. You got Robert Smith on Talk Sport. What is Robert? He doesn't do interviews with anyone, and now he's on Talk Sport all of a sudden. It's quite clear to see, if you look at the whole picture, that they've treated this completely differently. They've treated Conor Benn completely differently. And when you sit there and you go, yeah, well, if he wins the appeal, we'll have to look at it then. No. You said any case is dealt with. UKAD handle doping, the National Anti-Doping Panel deal with any doping issues, and they made a decision, right? So you said it's up to them. They made a decision, you weren't happy, you appealed, right? So then he's got to go and do an appeal again. Don't know when that might take place. Could be tomorrow, could be in a year's time.
So I'll pick up on that. Originally we thought 6 to 8 weeks, and it's already been about 6 weeks. Are you worried that there is a process where, we could still be having all this ongoing in December?
But anything's possible. Anything's possible. And, we applied for a foreign boxer application. The reason they didn't accept it is because there was an outstanding fine where they fined him, I think people will remember ages ago. And, that was, they said, we're not considering the foreign boxer application until you pay this fine. So they wanted the money, basically. So let's just be honest, they're treating it completely different. People can view it, people will have their opinions on the way, but Conor Benn dealt with it on various levels, right? And then he went and dealt with it with the NADP. And if you don't want to listen to the answer of the NADP and you want to appeal it, fine. But that could go on and on and on and on. And then if you don't want to listen to the answer of the appeal and you still say, whoa, what kind of organisation's that? So you say it's up to them what they decide, yet if he wins the appeal and he won the first time round, you're still not going to licence him. What is it?
Do you feel like the boxing public as such, and whether this holds any relevance to you and your case, maybe not, but do you feel like until this sort of suspension that's now been sort of held up in now another process, until this is all done, people aren't going to change their mind on it all, like this current ongoing one, which, God, could go on for another knows how long.
He's got no suspension. He's cleared. Like, hence why his suspension was lifted.
Yeah, but then they challenged that, didn't they?
Yeah, no, but he has no suspension. I could challenge something. You could continuously go, not happy with that, right? And they're in a position of power, right? So they can sit there. They can do it. Like, the reality is, they can sit there and he can win the appeal and they go, still not licensing you because we don't want to license you. I mean, it's not really the way it should work, is it? And you're gonna have big legal ramifications. Already potentially big legal ramifications from the steps that have been taken. But don't say these are the party who decide, right? You can't say we're putting it to these people to decide and then go, oh, I don't really like that answer, so let's go again. I don't really like that answer, so let's do something else. Like where this is the thing. Where does it end? He dealt with the WBC. People said you got to deal with it this way, and the reality is, everyone on the internet, no one's got a clue. That's the truth, right? And people can have opinions, and this is where you're dealing with someone's life, and you got people on the internet going, rah, 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 rah. You haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Like, that's just the truth, and I feel like the board have taken a position on this case like nothing else they've ever done, and now they feel they can't turn back. Is my honest opinion.
Obviously, the plan is for that December Eubank fight, providing everything comes through Saturday night fine. There is preparations and steps in place to put in an offer for that fight. If the licence isn't granted or this situation is still going on in a couple of months' time, obviously I imagine you need 8 to 10 weeks to go on sale with it, promote the event. Do you then look at doing the event abroad as long as it happens in 2023?
Look, let's see what happens. It's our focus to make that fight happen in 2023. It's the time to make it happen. It's never going to be bigger than it is right now, and we're going to make it happen.
Richardson Hitchins has been speaking very well this week. Is it a bit of a...
Where's that swing come from? That was just out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, well, 7 minutes on this situation. I feel like I just...
it was like Richardson Hitchins has been speaking
effortless.
Very well. It was effortless. I was a bit shocked.
I've been speaking very well this week. He went to the gym visit in Orlando. Afterwards, he came out. He was like, oh, my God, I can't believe they were coming up to me. A lot of people taking inspiration from him. Bit of a coming out party for him this week, then to headline out in New York.
Yeah, for 100%. Look, this is a big fight for him. This is a big step, a big challenge. It's not an easy fight. This is quite, a 50-50 fight. But we believe Richardson Hitchins is a huge star for the future. He's got massive potential, and gets this win on Saturday night. He's not far off from challenging for a world title.
Sandy Ryan, Jessica McCaskill. I suppose, just firstly, if Jessica wins this, can you still see her having that sort of working relationship with Matchroom down the line? Yeah,
look, I mean, we've been quite open about the things that have happened before. Like, people say things they regret, but, it's not the first time it will happen, it won't be the last time it will happen. And we've worked with a lot of people who have said things that maybe we don't agree with, but yet we continue to do stuff with. So, look, as long as people, I think with these kind of things, it's always good to learn and sort of apologize. Like, sometimes apologies are needed. If you can turn around and go, do you know what, I was wrong. That is an important factor. Don't get me wrong, if it continues to happen, something else happens, it changes the relationship, because it's like, how many times do we have to do this? But, it's all part and parcel of it.
Sandy Ryan, testament to her team, been with Clifton basically her whole life, took that loss quite early on. A lot of people thought that she might change teams. She now sits in this position to become three-belt unified champion. Foreign soil, really good opportunity, and a feel-good feeling for everyone involved in that camp.
Yeah, look, massive opportunity for her, and you have to give Sandy Ryan huge respect for, like you say, coming back from that early loss in her career, because she stepped up quickly as well.
Just ever achieving lineal status if she wins on Saturday night.
There you go. That's a nice little fact you come up with there. But when you think at such an early stage of her career, she suffered that loss in a real fight. It wasn't like she got beat against a nobody. Do you know what I mean? She got beat against someone who had been tested, who had been in there with the best. And she came straight back in there. She took that rematch straight away, and now she's got the opportunity here to go and do something very special. And it's been a pleasure working with Sandy, and she's got a massive future.
Anthony Joshua, it was teased that his fight could be the 23rd of December. Now, what sort of opponents are we looking at now? It may not be a Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz, a trilogy. Is that still realistic?
I'm not sure. I don't think Andy Ruiz. We're working on 3 or 4 names now with the team. Hopefully have some news soon, but December 23rd. We've got to move very quickly if it's going to be December 23rd. Probably got to get everything up and running next week. Sorry, my Apple Watch is going on notifications. Got to get everything up and running next week. So yeah, if we're going to do that, it's got to move.
Any hints on names?
No.
None at all?
No, because we say
I've
like
done this every fight now.
yeah, because you say things and then it's like, well, it wasn't him. It's like, oh well, sorry, and then it wasn't him. So
we did weeks of interviews about Dillian White for it to be Dillian White on like
But
12 hours, and then it wasn't.
But isn't it better just to go, let us try and figure something out?
But what would my job be then?
Doing what you do anyway, and you can just have a laugh around the fact that I dodged the questions.
Respect it. There's talks that Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk may be close to sealing a deal of some sort. I read that fight may even land in December. What are you hearing on your side? Do you believe that is the case?
Look, we're waiting. You know, we obviously represent Filip Hrgović, who's waited a long, long time for that IBF opportunity. We believe he deserves it next. We believe there's been a lot of talk about this fight for a long, long time, and it's never actually come to fruition. So, you know, Tyson Fury's focused on fighting Francis Ngannou. So are they saying they're just overlooking that? I don't know. But I want to see don't get me wrong, I want to see the undisputed fight, but I don't want it to then delay someone else's opportunity when it's not there.
Have you heard back from the IBF? Because
we're expecting news in the coming days, from them. But you know, they called the mandatory. Like, when was it? It'll be not far off 9 months ago.
Do you think the fact that Tyson Fury has the scheduled date first with Francis Ngannou makes a difference to the IBF's plans?
That should make a difference, because anything could happen. Like, you could get a cut and be out for 6 months, and then you've wasted another 2 months of Filip Hrgovic's time. Do you know what I mean? Like, so Usyk fought August 26th. What should have happened is on August 28th, the Monday, the first working day afterwards, right, mandatory's ordered, great. That fight probably could have taken place by December.
Yeah.
And then the undisputed could have happened in March. Like, so that's why I think it's hard, because like in any fight, anyone, and again, it's not someone getting beat, you could get a cut. It's quite easy, it's a sport we're in. Could injure your hand. Yeah. You know, and like then you're consistently delaying someone's career off the back of maybes.
Schedule moving forwards, obviously this week in Orlando, I believe. Then you go to Dublin for the Taylor Cameron press conference on Tuesday. I've only said that. You're going to? Can I reveal?
Where?
Tokyo.
Oh, am I? Yeah, I'm going to Tokyo.
Rascal.
What's Rascal?
It is, isn't it?
Why is
it? You're going from Orlando to Tokyo.
I'm flying back to London. Got 8 hours in London on Monday, then fly to Tokyo.
8 hours in London. What, at the airport?
No, I've got to go and do couple of bits.
I don't know how you do it, mate.
What?
Honestly, I have to give you props. It's like when we landed from Detroit and you were playing golf 2 hours later, and I was like trying to get my head together in bed.
No, I go from London. I go home to London. I go to Tokyo. I go from Tokyo to Kuala Lumpur. I go from Kuala Lumpur to Abu Dhabi, and then I'm back for Wood Warrington.
I was going to say, so you're not around next week,
Unlikely.
Jordan Thompson, Joe Opataya?
Unlikely. I think I'm in Tokyo for 2 or 3 days, Kuala Lumpur for a couple of days, Abu Dhabi for a couple of days, and then back for Wood Warrington fight week.
Pick up on Abu Dhabi. I believe that you may have some plans to go there in December.
Trying. That's what we're working on. You know, we've got a great relationship with the DCT, and very hopeful we can get something over the line for December. There's some big fights to be made there. So let's see.
Little Bivol thing, perhaps?
No, I mean, we're working on something with Bivol at the minute. Had some calls yesterday on that. Hopefully news soon there around December time to get Bivol back out the ring. You know, look, he's been out the ring, obviously. People don't quite understand he's had injuries, so people have been questioning where's he gone, but he has had some injuries over the time, so now he's back in the ring. Focus is to get him back out in December.
Right, finally from me, schedule run through, obviously next week, Jordan Thompson, Joe Opataya, or whatever way you want to put it, then Wood Warrington, then the Zone Go October 14 with KSI Tommy Fury. Just picking that back up for the 21st, Catterall Linares. After that, speak to me. I know that you've got some more plans for Mexico, LA, for Pacheco at some point. Yeah.
28th of October, we're in Cancun. Shaki Foster against Rocky Hernandez. Huni Tabiti on that card as well, and one other fight we're just working on now. November 4th, we're in Monaco. Joe Cordina defends his world title. Ramla Ali rematch, Sully Sissoko back out, and Noncha Shinga as well is on the card defending his world title. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. November 11th, I think we're actually going to get this Newcastle show done this weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, so...
Tease me.
That was a bit weird.
I'm cutting that out.
I'm
absolutely cutting that out.
That would be like November 11th, Newcastle. Looking at maybe Pat McCormack headlining there.
Versus
TBC. November 18th, we are in LA. Yes. Diego Pacheco against Cosieres. A few undercard fights to follow there. You like that pronunciation as well, didn't you? November 25th, we go to Dublin. Chantel Cameron faces Casey Taylor for the second time. Going to be, honestly, that was one of the best events I've ever been to. Yeah. December 2nd, maybe something in the UK, possibly. December 9, something big's coming. I'm not telling you. December 16th, obviously we saw the two guys yesterday. Sonny Edwards, Jesse Rodriguez, I think one of the best fights in boxing this year.
Can I pick up on that? Are you, not you yourself, but when we interviewed Bam, didn't say loads. I felt like Sonny prodded him. Okay, didn't go straight at him, but not engaging loads.
Yeah, look, they're different characters, aren't they? Sonny, we know, is one of the biggest talkers in boxing. He's great to be around. He's great to have, as part of a promotion of a show. Jesse's just a different character. He's also 23 years old. He's not a big outspoken character. And sometimes it takes two different personalities, and I think Sonny will probably bring out a slightly different side of Jesse once you've had weeks and months and months and months of grating on you. It's just what you can be the most quiet person in the world, but if someone keeps at you, then you're gonna have your mentality is gonna change a little bit. But I think the key is with this fight, take away the personalities. It's one of the best fights in boxing this year, I'd say. So can't wait for that. And December 23rd, trying to get something big over the line there. So we are literally looking at almost every weekend up until Christmas. I think it's 15 weekends in 15 weekends. It's a lot of fun. 14 in 15, sorry. We're missing the 14th, aren't we? Sorry, well done, Parsons. Quick maths.
Quick maths?
Big ends of the year, and it's what we do on a global scale, and more global news to come.
Early bird gets the worm. Frank Smith, thank you very much.